Hello. Hi. I get the feels. Your first one here. Maybe I'll write this down. Pre-stream. Pre-stream chat. Hi. Hi, everyone. Well, that's okay if you didn't write your questions. I am still taking questions from here, so it's not all exclusively from the forum. I still take questions here. Yeah, that's the whole point. It's just a nice time to ask, ask what's up. Like for example, right now, you can start asking right now. Actually, like I started a little bit early just for that express purpose, just to say hi, because I wanted to do the stream because I don't really get to talk to chat very often. So yeah, ask stuff away. Well, maybe I'll ask you guys the first question. What do you want me to draw? What do you want me to draw before stream starts? Hi, Kevin. Yeah, I want to start a little early. Oh, ooh, a whole essay, you say? Well, we'll see. A blob with a top hat? Sure. That sounds really funny. But out of all the fantasy monsters, I think blobs are they're up there. They are pretty cute. And I like it when they're a little irregular, like this. So like, oh yeah, no, this is me. This is me hearing your guys' questions. So here, I'm gonna draw Blob. And I think it's like a funny trope, when like the blob has like the exposed eyes. And then here. And then what kind of hat? Maybe I'll figure out what kind of hat. I want like no, maybe not a big one. There you go. And then actually there you go. There is your blob. Blob with a hat of some sort. Yeah. At least for now, I wanted to do like a pre-stream chat. Just for now. We haven't started yet. Excuse me. Have I ever written a story? No, sadly. I prefer drawing fan art of existing stuff. And I really like fan art because it's a chance to express how you feel about something. I'm sure a lot of people could agree, And yeah, I could like do it in my own kind of flavor, So for example, maybe I'll show one of my favorite fan art of recent memory. Okay, so for example, where is it? This one, my Deltarune drawing. I really like this one. Like, I just wanted to get the serious vibe of the scene. If you know, you know. I know, cough cough. Ah. I know. And what else is like fan art that I like? Let's see. Yeah, I also like this one. This is from one of my favorite anime, the Gundam Witch from Mercury. Oh my gosh. I wanted to make something cute, so I drew something cute. It's usually like that. So this is what I mean by like drawing what it means to me, like what is fun about it. So yeah, that's the neat part about fan art. It doesn't have to be one-to-one to the art style. Or this one. This Pokemon one, Gonzalo brought it up because I think he did a Pokemon drawing for his class. I was like, holy, that looks really fun. And then I drew myself, my character. And these are my favorite Pokemon designs, by the way. Yeah. If you remember Jesse's stream with me, we drew each other's favorite Pokemon, and it's funny. I made her draw Sylveon, but Jolteon's actually my favorite. I just think it'd be more fun to see her draw Sylveon than Jolteon, because like Jolteon is like a lot of spikes, but Jolteon's still my favorite Pokemon. Yeah, and yeah, Samurott. Samurott's probably my favorite starter, just because of how cool he is. I think he's one of the best designs, honestly, for starter Pokemon, because I think there's like a part where it gets over designed, where like there's nothing wrong with it, you know, where like they have cool stuff on them, like the Sidui, for example. I think it's really cool that like they have a bow and like they have a coat, but I think well, actually, you know what, the Sidui is actually one of the better designed ones, but I think Samurott's like simple enough to look like a real animal, but also like cool enough, like with the swords that he pulls out. I think that's really cool. Excuse me. Let me mute actually and clear my throat. Oh yeah. Okay, what time is it? Let me go with that. Name him Gil. Okay, I will name the Bob, the Blob Gil. Gil is a pretty cute name. Okay. There. Yay. Oh, and you know what? Another trope I kind of find funny with blobs is when there's like random bones in them. The bones of their victims. There. And there. Ooh, can the request be a character or like a little animal? Ooh, Mudkip. Okay, I'll try to draw Mudkip from memory actually before we start. And let's see. Oh, may I ask what this is? I'll explain in like a little bit. Right now it's just pre-stream chat, so we haven't officially started yet. And also, let me clear my throat again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so if I remember right, Mudkip has like a little thingy, and then I'm not sure if this is like what's it called? Marshtomp. So, Marshtomp stuff. You know what? Maybe Mudkip is up there too. Mudkip is pretty cute. But I do think Mudkip, or no, Samurott is cooler than Swampert, in my opinion. And then there. Or maybe I got it. Let me draw Mudkip. How I remember Mudkip. This is Mudkip in my own interpretation. Okay. And then the little tail. I wonder how close I got. It's a Mudkip. There you go. Alright. No, you haven't missed any questions just yet. This is just I just want the humor chat. Yeah. And then hold on. Let me add the confetti. Yay! Alright. Let's see. Yeah, you can ask the questions anytime. Bordiggy is generous. Wrong. I'm always generous. I always try. At least. Yeah. Okay, let me fix my throat again. One last time before we start. Alright. So again, now I'll officially start. So welcome everyone. Welcome to the Q&A stream. Today, I have a bunch of pre-prepared questions. So this is how it's gonna work. I have some pre-prepared questions that I got from our wonderful sheets. And that doesn't mean I won't be taking questions from chat. So yeah, just feel free to be active in chat, you know. Be nice, you know, play nice, and it'll be fun. I want to make the stream for fun, you know, so that I could talk to chat, just hang out, ask me anything within reason. Excuse me. Okay, let me drink water. Okay, there we go. Alright, so again, before we begin, at Wing Canvas, we're not just a YouTube channel, we're also a school of illustration. So join us for free live stream lessons on YouTube every week, so you can level up your skills with our community of art nerds. So, we're not... Oh, I already said that. Yeah, so we're an online school of illustration and visual storytelling dedicated to helping our artists turn their passion into income. So shout out to our amazing students and members for supporting our mission. We love seeing your incredible artwork and watching you grow in our classes and weekly critiques. So if you want to dive in deeper, join our Discord to access stream notes and demos and exclusive artwork and challenges and more free resources to help you improve. So come connect with fellow art nerds and get inspired. Yeah, okay. Okay. So, I'm gonna start now. So, where's the questions? Here is the first question. Yeah, can you recommend alternative methods of visualizing forms in space for a beginner with visual spatial issues? Wow, big words. Big words, but that question makes sense. Here, let me fix this up. I'll put them in a corner, actually. There. So, when it comes to drawing in 3D, a lot of people may already know, but I like to picture a cube. A cube is nice because, you have the front, you have the top, you have the right side, and then the non-visible ones, you got the left side, you got the back, and you got the bottom. And the reason why I like to use a cube over anything else is because it's nice to rotate, because the sides are nice and defined, and it has all the sides you would need, like these ones that I just labeled. Because if you compare it to a circle, right, or like a sphere, I should say, this one's the front, right side, top, but if I rotate it, it looks exactly the same. So maybe I'll do it here. See guys, I don't know if you know, but this is actually the bottom of it, and this is the front, and this is the right, this is the left. But if you do that with a cube, it's a lot more obvious. Right there. There. So now we know this is the bottom, this is the left, and then this is the front. So it's much easier to tell. And usually, you see 2 to 3 sides. So for example, maybe you see the back side and then the right side. So you see 2 sides, or there. Technically you do see 3 sides at all times, unless it's like, super unnoticeable anyway. For example, here you see the top, the front, and the right side. So this is why it's so convenient to use cubes. But let me see what chat is saying. Yeah. Just come here and chill, just do your thing. Draw while the stream's going. So visual spatial I guess awareness would be a good word for it. Means that basically it's a big sounding word, but it's pretty simple. It just means you're aware of the space, like which side is left, which side is right, which side is the bottom. That's what it means. Yeah, and also I forgot to ask this earlier, but let me know if my audio's okay. If it's all good, and I just pulled my mic a little closer. It's a little squeaky mic arm. But yeah. Let me know in chat. Ooh, maybe the use of horizon line can sometimes help with spatial visualization. Yeah, it can. But in this case, I want to keep it simple. I don't want to talk about the horizon line just yet. And so, you might be thinking like, yeah, this is kind of complicated, and drawing cubes sounds kind of boring. So, okay, let me turn down the music a little bit. Yoink. There you go. How about now? Let me know if my audio's okay. My music. I turned it down. Okay, and then here's another thing. So these cubes, right? Let's say you have a reference. So let me pull out reference here. Wow, you got this cool person right here. Yeah, those are my emotional support I guess creatures on the right. You got Blob and Mudkip. But okay, anyway, pretend like you have like a photo reference, right? So the reason why this cube is useful is when you look at stuff, try to think of the cube, your mind's cube. So, you know, let's say this is the front of the face, and we see a little bit of the top of the head. So like, it's probably similar to this perspective, honestly. So we see the right side like that. Maybe just like a little bit. So technically we see three sides. We see the front, we see the right side, and a little bit at the top, like barely, but it's still there. And so that's how it's helpful. You know, you don't have to draw literally a cube around the head. It's just how I see things. So for example, like the body, like that. So this one, right, we see the top a little bit. So if I were to say the body, it'd be like something like this, you know, like put a cereal box over her. So you got the front side, the top side, and the right side. So it's really useful in that sense, that you could like picture a cube around it. So now, when you draw a body, I feel like this is a big thing that I notice with students, is they kind of make that oversight. Where let's say it's like a head, right, from below, right here. They draw that. But also for some reason you could see like the top of the head. When really you shouldn't be able to. I'm trying to like do it wrong on purpose, but I can't think of a way to do it wrong on purpose. Example, if this were to be a face that I picture, it'd be something like this. So like you got the front. Maybe I'll do it on a separate player. Something like this. There. Or maybe, let me try to draw one side first. Okay. There you go. There. And then this time we see a little bit at the bottom, right here. So yeah, you kind of think of like the basic shapes of it. And the next thing that makes this really easy, well actually, before I do that, let me look at chat. Is learning how to draw cubes help you draw in 3D spaces? Yes, 100%. Like, you don't literally have to draw like a sheet of invisible or like random cubes. You don't have to do that. What you can do though is like look at the stuff you actually like to draw. Like maybe you like drawing dragons, maybe you like drawing animals. Try to picture which side is which, you know. So for example, like if I were to draw a dragon, you know, so if it's at this angle, you know, it'll be like something like this. There and there. There, because this cube, it tells me that we see a lot of the top side and we see a lot of the right side. So now when I'm drawing a dragon, there you go. Maybe I made the thing too big. There. There. You can see that it helps me keep my perspective in check. There you go. And there. And you can see that it doesn't literally have to be in the cube. It's just a guide, you know, like you don't have to like closely follow it. But what I did closely follow was the angle. Excuse me. Yeah. Beginner's confidence can take you a long way. Exactly, yeah, because it's really funny. In class, you know, I see a lot of people who are like, not so confident in their skills. You just need to hype them up, you know, like they do know. Oh, what if you're red-green colorblind? Okay, then let me change that. Let me try. Pink. Maybe here. I'll turn it into purple. There you go. Just so you can see. There you go. Excuse me. Actually, maybe I shouldn't be so wrong. You should be confident. Just be confident in the stuff you do. It goes a long way, really, to like try stuff. And yeah. Also, yeah, slider magic. Here's another piece of advice, right? Because we know the sides, right? So here's one thing you could think of. So now we have here, let's say this is the front and then this is the right side. So in the front, you know, maybe I'll try to draw like a face, you know, maybe a face at this angle is like this, you know, it's like directly head on. And on the right side, probably looks something like this, you know, there's like a, there you go, it's kind of like a P shape. There. And then the nose, the eyes, and then, you know, the mouth. And so now, you could like sort of draw things like this too. Like this is a little bit more complicated. But since I know what it looks like from the front, what it looks like from the right, I'll try to draw that now. So there, you kind of like combine it. So on here, and then here I'll try to like, yank, yank, yank. So now I'm kind of verifying it because you see how I drew like the back of the head? I knew that there's like a little protrusion, I guess. There's like a protrusion at the back because I'm kind of transferring it onto this side, you know? So, and then on this side, I know what the front looks like, so it'll be like that. And then it starts to transition from like front to right. There you go. Then, just draw the face. There you go. So that's another way you could do that. Because you could picture stuff. Because in the right side, we know that this is visible. Like, everything here is visible. So if the right side's right here, and it's a little warped, then I think the back of the head will be a little visible. So, stuff like that. There you go. And it's really useful. It's really useful for drawing stuff in 3D. Especially cars. I feel like cars, it's really useful. So for example, got like a car right here. Like from the front side, it looks like this. Like this is a really, really crummy car. And then the side lights, and then the side mirrors, I mean. And then, let me grab this actually. Yoink. So let's use this as an example. Yeah, I'm telling you, cubes are broken. They're meta. And then on here, obviously a car isn't like a perfect, well, actually maybe let's make it a perfect cube. We could. But you could also make it a rectangle. Maybe I'll make it a rectangle just for it to be a little different. So let's say, you know, the car looks like this from the side. And it looks like this from the front. So now, when I draw like a rectangle right here, let's see what chat is saying. Okay, playing confident again. Let's go. Okay, so right here, we got. Here's one thing you do. You have this, right, on the side projection. So maybe you could even like carve it out and start there. Bloop, bloop. And then you could like extend it like that. Because now I know what the front side looks like. And obviously we won't see this part in the front side, you know, because of the perspective. But because we have the right side, I know that. So, there. And there. There you go, look at that. I'm drawing like a really basic car, you know? And I got the side mirrors right here. because I know the side mirrors are right here, right? And then there. And right there. So yeah, 3D. And I know that the wheels are directly under the car, they're not like sticking out. So now when I draw them, they're like still within the shape. Like that. And there we go. Let's see. I wanna look at the... Yeah. There. And there. Yeah, Faye did draw like a video of a vehicle. She did. And also, let me show actually. Where is it? Yeah, both me and Faye actually did a car drawing stream. Let me look for it. Yeah, this is what I drew. There, we drew like the cute car. So yeah, it is really fun. Like once you get the gist of it, just like that. And then I think the last thing I want to give for advice here is that when you draw, excuse me, when you draw a cube in perspective, you know, you could keep it parallel, but also parallel meaning lines that never meet, no matter how much you extend them. But for me, I like to add a little bit of perspective to it. And if we know anything about perspective, it's that they go towards somewhere like this, right? So if you extend their lines, they will meet eventually. So if you draw your line like this, if you draw your cube like that, that's I wouldn't say that's in proper perspective right here, because like if you look here, the lines aren't like going the same direction. But if you do it like this, for example, you can see that if I extend it, at some point they do meet right here. So that's the vanishing point technically. And then here, if I extend these ones as well, there, and there. But look at that. There, I could draw like a vanishing point in reverse. It's a little bit off, but that's okay. Like we don't have to measure it entirely, you know, unless you're like doing it in perspective. But yeah, the number plate, adding cheese. Yeah. Let me see it again. Actually, there you go. Wing it cheese. Yeah, and then we did put the thing. And yeah, somebody requested to like draw a cat. I remember just all the cute stuff you guys suggested. Yeah, exactly what Kevin said. Like a lot of the time when you're practicing, when you're just starting, I'd encourage people to draw even if there are mistakes, because again, starting it is like half the battle. You know, because you like kind of drag your feet, but it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. There you go. But yeah, that's the gist of it. Oh yeah, hey Runic. So hello. Yeah, today we're just like, it's a Q&A. It's a Q&A day today. So we're just vibing. There. And then here. Okay, let me see. There you go. That is question number 1. I'd say that's answered enough. So yeah, thank you for the wonderful question. Oh, and again, so I do have a question on the top right, but also feel free to just ask, you know, while we go on the stream. So just drop your question in the chat. Could be anything. But I'll show the next question here. Ooh. So this one's a nice question. Excuse me. If you do, what do you tend to draw on bad days? Like when you're feeling negative and you want to get it off your chest. What's your opinion on vent art and advice for those who feel scared to use their art to vent? I really like this question. So first off, I do have bad drawing days for sure. There are just times where like I don't feel like it, or I just had like a terrible day and like I don't wanna draw. So let's see. Like when you're feeling negative and you want to get it off your chest. yeah, so vent art is definitely a really nice way to like express yourself, because it's you. Like, it's you just making stuff and putting it onto paper. And my opinion on vent art is that it's so valid. Like, it's really fun. And I think you shouldn't feel scared to draw vent art, because it's just for you. You don't have to post that. You don't have to share it with anybody. You could just draw. And like, you could even like throw it away, you could burn it, you could do whatever you want with that vent art. And it's really fun. What about you, chat? Do you draw vent art? I want to know. Or like, do you express yourself through your art? Because I've drawn a couple. Yeah, it's true what Kevin said. Yeah. Because, all forms of drawings are kind of an expression of how you feel about something. So it kind of goes back to the thing, like what's it called? The fan art question, or like original story question. I like to draw a lot of fan art, but I put a lot of myself into it, even though it's not like my original creation, So, yeah. And also, I'm just like kind of drawing a person. Okay? Spicy question. How do I render? I'll get to that in a little bit. Right now, I just want to draw like, I don't know what I'm drawing actually. Just a person. Like, something to keep my hands moving. There. And also, I think it's okay to have, bad days where like you feel like you can't draw, or like nothing's coming out right. Because let me draw the eyes first. Because, either you draw something you're comfortable with and just like something that's fun, or you just try to draw until like you can't anymore, because sometimes maybe you just have to get the ball rolling. It depends on your mood, like sometimes this is that. Ooh, that's your question? Yeah. And we're out there. You recognized it. Yeah, I didn't really put the names to the questions because, yeah, I feel like I just wanted to answer the question. Maybe I should have. We'll see. Yeah. So many characters. Yeah, kind of the same with making your own characters. Sometimes you just put a part. Oh yeah, 200%. Like, you put a part of yourself, yeah, in your story. So that's the fun part of making OCs for sure. And I ask my questions in class. Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, in classes, I do tend to answer a lot. So like, you don't have to feel shy if you're in my class. So that's for sure. Ooh, I make my characters my event art instead of focusing on what bad could happen IRL. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a nice way to sort of express yourself, and I've said that so many times. Express yourself, but like, oh, hold on. Was I drawing? Oh, I was drawing on the same layer. I knew it. It's true. Yeah, and Gene, just drop your question. Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah, exactly, because that's how I see stories, like every time I watch a story or read something, I always try to think of what the author, or like what the person who made the game is trying to tell me. So like, yeah, it's very valid, because a lot of people think like, oh, stories, they're useless, it's very frivolous, it's just for fun. But really, it says a lot on the perspective of the author, and they might give you a new perspective, and that's the fun part. That's why it's so important to, do your comic that you've always wanted to do, or like do that game you've always wanted to do. Because, yeah, it goes a long way, right? Like, if you think about it, once upon a time, something as big as, like, Deltarune and Undertale, those are just some person's OCs, you know? Ooh. Sometimes I just feel a little edgy. Yeah, you're valid. Yeah, you could make edgy, what's it called? You could totally make edgy event art. It's fun. Yeah, let me see actually if I have like event art that I could share. Where is it? Let me see. Because I don't think I've ever shared them. Yeah, because some of the event art I do, I just don't share. Ooh. I think this one, I didn't really have an idea. I think this is like a few years ago. I was like, ooh, I'll draw this. It's so artsy fartsy. Whoa. And where is it? I wish I could find it. Let me... Yeah, and like, you guys can decide. Ooh, here it is. Here's one event art I made. Look at this. Whoa. Oh my gosh. It's Taboo from Smash Brothers Brawl. Yeah, cause like, like looking at it while I was drawing at the time, I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is how I feel right now. But now I look at it and it's like, oh my gosh, it's Taboo from Smash Brothers Brawl. But it really did like mean a lot, like at the time, like to be able to draw and really like, oh yeah, this is fun. Yes, but let me close that. Think. But yeah, I need to draw event art sometime, but then I erase it. Yeah, exactly. Because again, event art doesn't have to be permanent. You don't have to upload it to your social media either, you know? Like, a lot of people think like, oh yeah, like I gotta post on my art like all the time. You know, I gotta post my art all the time in my social media and like keep people updated. You don't have to, you know, like some art can be just for you. So, highly encourage it. There you go. And actually, it's funny. Even though I did this to cover the eye, I think the eye would still be a little visible here. Okay. Maybe I'll just cover it better. Because I don't want to draw the other eye. There. Okay. And then here. And this drawing that I'm doing, it's just a random drawing that I do so that my hands can move while I talk. He got Taboo in his feels. Yeah, he's all sad. He's like in a swimming pool. Let's see. Yeah, I used to deal with the pressure of posting everything, but honestly, don't feel pressured to post what you vent about. It's made for you. Exactly. This... you can do whatever you with your art. Exactly. There you go. It's very, very valid. But yeah, thanks for the wonderful question. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next one. Ooh, so for this one, how do you make a story that makes you want to continue writing it, and how can you build just that idea? Ooh, this is another really good question. So, it's kind of connected to what we were talking about earlier. Stories are an extension of yourself, right? So, how do I word this? I think you should be confident and, you know, you have something important to share with the world and you want to make it, you know? So that's why you draw and that's why you made your story. So, yeah, I think a good way to keep writing your story is to remember why you wrote it. You know, every good story has like a point to it. You know, for example, oh, oh, hello. My computer kind of flickered, so audio check, vibe check. Let me know if my audio is okay, picture's okay. Yeah, exactly. Audio check? There you go. Okay, chat is working fine. Mic check good. Okay, nice. Some vent art is hidden in plain sight. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just going back to that. Yeah, that's kind of why I like making, I guess, really bright artwork, like really vibrant artwork as well, because that's just how I feel. You know, I feel like it's a good vibe. Here. But to go back to the question, okay, let me fix this actually. But yeah, try to remember why you're writing in the first place, because a good story has a message that's trying to convey, you know? And like, kind of like what we were talking about earlier with vent art, you put a lot of yourself in the story. So for example, you know, it's really easy to get lost in like world building and like character stuff, you know, like character designs that you like to do, and like you put them onto paper. But you gotta remember that people have to care. People have to care about your artwork. And a really easy way to tell, or not to tell, but like to make people care about your story, is to kind of let them be a part of the story as well. Like, try to connect with your audience, because a lot of people say like, oh yeah, write your story for you, you know, like just write what you want to write, you know. And sometimes that's true, you know, but also it's good to put a little bit of thought into like what people would think, because you're trying to deliver a message, right? And like, you want the message you deliver to people to be clear. So yeah, take your message along with the ride. So for example, a really nice world building anime that I could think of, yeah, other than One Piece. Yeah, One Piece is perfect. One perfect story that I could think of is Full Metal Alchemist, you know, because in the world of Full Metal Alchemist, right, you can use alchemy and you could like create like a lot of things. You could create almost anything. But the rules of alchemy is that you have to exchange something of equal value to make something. So for example, you know, if you want to make a rock sculpture, then obviously you need enough rock. Or, you know, if you want to make like a what else do they make in Full Metal? Like an ice, I can just think of like sculptures. If you want to make an ice sculpture, then you know, you need like water, like enough water and like enough heat. So it's called equivalent exchange, right? And on the surface, it's like a really cool power system. But what I really like about the story is that they connect it to Edward and Alphonse's arc, you know, because they sacrificed a lot to get to where they are, you know, as like people. And I think that's really good. That's really good writing. And that's what I mean by trying to connect with your audience, because you might want to write a story about like, oh yeah, like I have this cool dragon lore of my character, but you know, I have this cool ice dragon design and like, you know, it's really sick. But people might be like, okay, that's cool, but why should I care, you know? Maybe your ice dragon is, you know, he's really strong, he's really cool, but also he's a little lonely and he's a little cold, you know? So he's ice. So he's not very good at socializing, maybe. And like, maybe the story's about him learning to, you know, get better at socializing and like breaking out of his shell, you know? So that would connect with people, because people know what it's like to be lonely, you know? And also, it's nice if you try to say something about it. Because if you just say like people get lonely, and I'm like, okay, that's true. You know, people already know that. But try to say something. So maybe your message is, it's okay to be lonely sometimes because it won't be like that forever. So maybe at the end of your story, your ice dragon is like, yeah, I went through this whole journey, but sometimes I like my alone time, but also it was really nice to meet all those people. So there you go. That's like a nice way to end your story, right? Pretty simple, you know, we just wrote a story in like 2 seconds. So, so yeah, I think when it comes to writing stories, it's nice to have a point, you know, like you don't have to write the beginning, middle, and end, but ideally you should have an end point in your head. So I think that's really good storytelling. I don't write stories, but I am a story enjoyer, so yeah, that's just what I enjoy. Let's see, I like world building that supports stories rather than world building being the story. Exactly. I don't want to be like, oh, see, this is the statue. I made this really cool statue because the city that I made has cool lore to it. But also, it's not connected in any way to the story. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, just keep it simple. Exactly. Yeah, a story can be really simple because a lot of the time, right, people think like, oh yeah, I gotta world build, you know, I gotta like think of the parents' history before I even think of my main character. And you really don't have to. You could just think of the point to your story, and like it could be as basic as you want, as long as there's a good message, you know, like people come out like learning maybe more about you or maybe more about themselves. That's what makes a good story. Because even though a lot of people say like, oh yeah, write what you want, like write for you, it's true, you know, you should write the stories you want, but also still try to think of like what you want to give to the world with your story. I think that's still very essential when you're like making a story. It's really funny, I say all this and I'm like, man, I kind of want to write a story now. But we all know I'll be like, hey, I'll draw fan art again. Because I don't stick with making my OCs. Maybe I should. It's really funny. I draw them once and then I draw them never again. Iggy Star, whoa. If it's an Iggy story, it's gonna be a lot of cheese. It's gonna be a lot of I like cheesy stuff. Like what's it called? Lovey-dovey stuff. That's why when I draw, let me show some of my artwork. I kind of like to find like the romance in it. Kinda. So this one, this is my drawing of Expedition 33. You know, I like to use a lot of blue and pink. So, or this one's an OC, I guess. Look at this. I made like a golem protector character, and then yeah, like the little mouse people that I designed, and then yeah. So I want to draw this kind of waterfall place. It's true, actually, you're right. I always tell a story, even in like little pieces. Yeah. I wouldn't say relatable is what you should make your characters. You should make them understandable and compelling. Exactly. Okay, yeah. That's a really good point. It doesn't have to be relatable, you're right. Or maybe it could be relatable in the sense of like, man, I've always wanted to do that, but I will never do that. You know? And where else? For this one, I drew some One Piece. Look at this. Oh my gosh, this Brook. And also drew Luffy. And I drew Frankie. I drew like their older versions, by the way. Look at him. My handsome boy. Look at that. Because I really like the old designs that Oda made for the Straw Hats. And I don't think Brook has one, so I was like, he'll probably look the same. And Usopp, I kind of like the way I drew Usopp here, actually. Look at him. He's so handsome. That's my boy. I love that guy. I think I'm the opposite because I mostly draw my own characters. Yeah. And also Robin, the beautiful, and Nami, old Nami. But yeah, there. I drew everybody, and then I drew Chopper. I drew Sanji. I drew Zoro really buff. It's really funny. He's like HD. Whoa, he's so buff, old man. And then of course Jinbei. I think I've showed everybody now. Yeah, Jinbei. Look at him, old man. Okay. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so a lot happened. But what should I do if I don't think the message behind the story is very clear? I think you should hone it in. You know, like you should try to remember. So for example, what's a good example? I've never written a story. So like maybe you're getting lost. Maybe you're like writing a battle. So maybe you're like, man, I'm like making this cool battle scene, but I kind of forgot why I'm writing this. So maybe put some dialogue, you know, like why are they fighting? Like what do they represent? You know? That sort of thing. There. And there. So try to like reorient yourself because you are the captain of your story and you can take it to any direction you want. Ooh, a mind map? Okay, I could tell you all about a mind map. So I think a mind map, it's good for starting a story and it's good for reorienting. So for example, let's say you have no idea what your story is going to be, but you know, you want to make it about what's something cool. Yeah. So tell me a prompt, chat. Let me know what kind of story, or actually let me fix my question. What would you want to have a story center around? Like tell me a random word. So like dragon or sword or like a villager, you know? Ooh, romance? Okay, I can do romance. Sure. So romance. So when I think of romance, I think of two people. You know, two people. And when I think of two people, like what can they be? They could be friends at first. Or they could be co-workers. It could be maybe enemies to lovers, you know? So like that. So, oh, oops. I drew on the... Okay, let me separate this layer. Cut, paste. And so this is kind of like your center. And when I think of friends, you know, I think maybe they're childhood friends. Or maybe they're new. They just met. And then... Or maybe, let me write. Just met. And then coworkers, right? Maybe they're like... Maybe they're knights. They're both like knights. Or maybe they work at like a fast food joint. You know? Maybe it's like that simple. Yeah, it's a visual tool that organizes information. Yeah, exactly. And then maybe I could think of it again. Maybe if I think of romance, what else is like a good... Yeah, maybe chat can give me prompts. Butter. Maybe I think of like gifts. I don't know. So I think of gifts with romance, right? So maybe maybe chocolate. So now you could kind of like try to think of like a story. So maybe I kind of like the story of, you know, two friends who just met, and maybe, you know, you like, let's see. My ideas for my story are scattered all in my brain, so a mind map would be really helpful. It would be. And then you could like circle the ones that you like. So maybe knights. And maybe, Okay, when I think of knights, right, I think of fantasy, and maybe like chocolate is expensive because they're just lowly knights, and chocolate is made in Africa, or maybe the Africa equivalent of your world, and so maybe it's like a big gesture, like maybe you could do that, and maybe that's like a finer detail. Maybe I could orient to like the bigger, yeah, the central conflict. Yeah, maybe. Trying to think. Yeah, how you could tie your ideas together exactly. So they just met their friends, their knights. Maybe I could think of like problems with. Here, I'll write it down here. Some problems, maybe miscommunication, miscomms, or maybe third evil guy. Maybe there's somebody trying to break them apart. Maybe an evil stepmother, or like a jealous admirer. Who knows? And what else could get in the way of romance? Maybe differences. So maybe it's like Romeo and Juliet. They're from two opposing houses. So yeah, you could really like put it to your visuals. Like you could like write it down like that. So now, let's say like I just started, right? So now I'm writing a romance about friends who just met. They're both knights, but they have their differences. So maybe secretly this knight is from like an enemy country, and they're actually sneaking in to kill their king. But then you find out, maybe the knight is finding out that the king is actually a nice guy. And maybe the problem is that, he has a boss who's really urging him to kill the king and his knights. So yeah, you could like, just like that, right? We came up with a story. And then, yeah, so maybe difference. Let me write that down. Difference, enemy country. So it's just like that. There you go. Maybe the conflict is that maybe they fall in love with their fellow knight who works for the king that they're trying to kill. There you go. That's a good story, right? And then you could just like start honing in on the details of your story. It's fun. There you go. Yeah, I'll put that on the side. It's gonna be really funny. It's gonna be really funny to put the paper. Let's see. Gotta figure out a way to make the antagonist cause the main character. Yeah. So this one is just a good way to get the broader picture of your story. But yeah. So also maybe you could try to connect with your audience. Maybe you could like try saying something about like, oh, different cultures. It's hard to connect with different cultures, but eventually you will if you give it the time to like connect. Give it the time to like understand the different culture, right? There you go. That's a good story, right? That makes for a really good story. Bridging differences and all that. So it's always good to hone in on the story first before the world building. So you notice how like I wanted them to be from opposing countries, right? So maybe you could write the cultures that make them so different. It'd be like, oh, like maybe they're from the underground, and like they're different and like they're more cold, right? Or they learn something about each other, and that's fun. That's fun storytelling and character writing. There you go. But yeah, let's see. Stuff going on isn't fun. Yeah. Really gotta... And also challenging your ideas, right? But yeah, this is a really good question. So, there you go. We just wrote like a whole fun story. Anybody could use that, by the way. Just credit me. Makes sense. And I think it's fun. Just remember, if you're struggling to continue your story, you have something valuable to say. So I think you should take a break. Maybe you're just tired. And remember that you have something worth saying, you know, something worth sharing to the world. So finish that story, because nobody else will tell it like you do. There we go. Okay, next question. Ooh. How do I make a true form look scary, but keep the aspect of the creature itself still kind, being being kind despite their... It's really funny. When I got this question, it was what's it called? It was cut off like this. I don't know why it was cut off like this. But maybe their creature got to them. I don't know. But let's see. Yeah. I think with this one, yeah, maybe, yeah, chat, give me a monster idea. Give me like a monster idea. I want to design a creature with you all, actually. There. Because I've been drawing this character for a little bit now, I think. And cut off, lol. I know, right? A little ghost cat. Okay, sure. Ooh, gluttony demon. I like that. Okay, so maybe I'll finish this character later. Okay. So here, let me put her aside. Think. Let me put that aside. Think. Oh, oops. I forgot. Here. Think. Oh, what the heck? There. There we go. Oh, I drew the thingy on there too. Okay. Let me sort my file real quick. But in the meanwhile, maybe you all can give me ideas. Cut. Paste. And there. What time is it actually? Okay, making good time. There. Little chainsaw guy, even Pochita. Yeah. Let's see. Black round ghost cat with swirly eyes and a little hair clip on its ear. Maybe. Okay, so let me read it again. I think, yeah, this is a really good example. Maybe I'll draw like the creature first. Black round ghost cat with swirly eyes and a clip on its ear. I really like that one. So first, I want to like picture something, you know. I don't want to like just make a, what's it called? It's kind of like a random animal. Black round ghost cat with swirly eyes and a little hair clip on its ear. Now maybe I'll combine it with Halfsed's prompt, which is like a glutinous beast. So there you go. Swirly eyes, you say. There you go. The dog. Yeah, Pochita. Pochita is really cute. There you go. And then, let's see, little hair clip on its ear. I wonder what kind of hair clip would be. Maybe you all can give me advice on that, actually. So like, what should the hair clip be of this dubious little creature? There. Because, you know, I want to make this form cute. And then I want to make like a scary version. Think. We're making a funny fella. Oh yeah. Like a computer chip or a tracker. Okay, yeah. Let's see, what else? So it's like a cyber cat. There you go. So maybe first, you know, I'll try to like design the cute version. There. Maybe I'll make there. It reminds me of that SpongeBob joke because it's supposed to be a ghost cat, right? It's like, you know how ghosts have like that little like tadpole tail like that? And SpongeBob, they're like, ah, mermaid. There you go. So maybe this is our dubious little creature. Up to no good. There we go. Hollow Knight vibes? That'd be crazy. Having like a cat in Hollow Knight. There you go. There you go. And so basically what I'm doing here for the people who just came in, I am designing a cute character and I want to design like a cute, or no, their true form basically. Like a scary true form while still making the creature feel kind. Maybe it's like a, you know, Cheshire cat. There. 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 And there. And then maybe their eyes get kinda darker as it gets along. So like gets deeper. So like there. And there. And by the way, I know I talked about this at one point, but in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, you know, they have red eyes, but I think it's scarier when like they have this sort of eye, you know, like in the original game. I don't think the red eyes are scary. I think this one is nicer. Okay, maybe not the Cheshire. Maybe just like there. I feel like this one's pretty blank. It's so scary. Then maybe maybe I'll give it like a double chin. I feel like it'd be kind of funny. There. You know, they're like a chubby cat. Yeah. And then maybe this is how it's a ghost. Maybe their tail is like the ghost tail. And then there you go. Here's like a cute cat design. And then maybe there. And then here's like their underbelly. There you go. And maybe with their scary form. So let me reread that again. It's good to sort of keep the traits that make them feel endearing. So I think their like roundness makes them feel like, you know, they're still huggable despite the the vacant spiral eyes. So like right there, it's like a light at the end of the tunnel sort of thing. That's really scary. It's so scary. Yeah. The rare Bonnie screen, right? That's what I'm saying. That's like freaky. And then honestly, it doesn't look as scary because like I want there should be a lot of lighting involved. Maybe I'll color them actually. So like there. See a lot of it. It's kind of like those monsters in horror movies. Like they don't really look scary in the light, you know, most of the time. But I think if they're like lurking in the dark, it's pretty unnerving. So maybe I'll try to give it a little bit of like maybe a background. So maybe like dark. There you go. Whoa, so scary. Here. And there. And I guess this could be like a shading lesson as well. So like here, I'll do is like, I'll kinda darken them. And then, you know, really low. Maybe like their eyes are like slightly glowing actually from it. There. And there. Maybe a little bit. Let's see what chat is saying. Okay, nice. Oh, and maybe, you know what? Maybe I could I forgot to make the ears darker. I think. But yeah, also, this goes to show, you know, values, right? I'm just using black and white at the moment. I'm not, what's it called? I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just focusing on the shading. So maybe their bottom is like that. Actually, let me show this actually. Where is it? I want to show one of like the rare times I do I did like a horror themed character. And it's funny, it was because I was subbing for Jessie. She wasn't around for one class. And it's not really scary, but like I just wanted to like focus on the lighting. So just like this, you know, like I wanted to make like a cool looking design, kind of like inspired by Alien. So like I did a little sketch. This is what they look like in the light. And then I was like, ooh, I wanted it to look alien. And so here, delete that. There you go. Let's see. Here, merge. Oh, oops, I forgot. Never mind. I forgot to shade this. There you go. There's like our cat. There. It's so scary. And then, where is it? Here. Maybe. Also, here's another thing that people should understand, is that just because the scene is dark doesn't mean that you should add lighter colors, because you need that contrast. Things look dark because there's something to compare it to. There's like brighter parts, just like that. There you go. So maybe with their true form, you know, I like their eyes. It's very endearing. So, and also I like how chonky they are. So, even though they're scary, I still want them to look kind, just like the prompts on the top right. So maybe on here, I'll try to draw like a, how to be, you know, they're glutinous. So maybe actually their body is actually like this. It's kind of like maybe it's like an anglerfish. That's not like their real face. Maybe that's why it's so blank. And then actually they look like this. And then like that. And then let's see. There you go. And maybe it's like that. It's like a big fish. Maybe there you go. So maybe there you go. That's the monster design that I could think of. There, and maybe they're like a shark. You know, they're glutinous, so maybe they eat a lot. They have like several rows of teeth on the inside, like that. That's what I could think of. And there you go. I think let's say this is like their true form, right? This is like what they're like a mimic cat, I guess. There you go. Spooky. There you go. Okay, let me do that. And then there. And there. And maybe, what else? There you go. So you can see that I'm kind of keeping the parts that make them endearing, you know, like the big roundness of this cat, and like the eyes are still there, you know, right here. Maybe it's like a, oh, you know what it reminds me of? Let me look it up. In the SpongeBob movie, the anglerfish. Maybe that's what I've been thinking of. Here, where was it? Copy. Yeah, in the SpongeBob movie, like this. Okay, now that I look at it, it looks kind of like that. Where like it's like an old lady selling ice cream, but it's actually just a monster's tongue. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're designing scary creature. Oh my gosh. Why is there a mask? Oh yeah. Sorry, let me. Because this is the original design. Because if you look at the top right of the screen, The question is, how do you make a creature's true form look scary, but still keep the aspects of it being kind? So, my answer is the endearing parts of the character is how round they are, and like the cat. So maybe the cat is still there, you know, like just has like there we go, kind of like Mimikyu, right? So maybe that's like, turns out that's not actually their real, what's it called? Real face. Ooh, and maybe that's another cool way to make it look scary. There you go. Some like fleshy string, because it's not supposed to open that wide. There you go. There you go. That's a pretty simple, right? Pretty basic design. Is this a no-face relative? Oh yeah, you're right. No-face as well. I think no-face is a really good example of that, because even though he looks really scary, he still has like, his mouth is still pretty expressive. I think that's like a really good example actually. He's like he's more endearing and kind of unnerving at the same time because of the mouth, right? Kind of creepy. Oh, there you go. We got our fat cat, and then the underbelly. And I think it's perfect to not give them eyes, I think. So maybe this is just like it's just flapping around in the wind. There you go. Long story short, it just has to be the simple things, you know, like boil it down to like the endearing traits, and you will make a cool design like this. Happy Halloween! Early happy Halloween. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Feels. But the one I was talking about earlier was the SpongeBob movie. So it's not an episode. Iconic movie. That was supposed to be the last episode, but it kept going. But yeah, it's really good. Okay, so time to move on to the next question. Ooh, what media do you enjoy? I already know you like One Piece and Kingdom Hearts. Is there any others at the peak of the list? Yes. Okay, let me put this aside. Okay, let me stretch first actually. Ooh, that's your question. Nice. Okay, for me, I think one thing, I have talked about it before, but not as much as like One Piece or Kingdom Hearts. But I really love the Gundam series. I really love the what's it called? The specifically G Gundam and Gundam Witch from Mercury. I love Witch from Mercury a little bit better, and it kind of connects to the story stuff that we were talking about earlier, because I really love the mecha genre. Because if you think about it, right, mecha are just like giant people. You know, they're like giant robots that look like people, and a lot of the time they don't have character. Ooh, have you seen Build Fighters? No, I haven't, but I heard it was really good. It's like really cute. So I really like it because the mechs are an extension of the people, you know, like they represent people's like strength. Yeah, mech are freaking awesome, exactly. And they represent the power that you have to like change yourself, change the world. My final message, goodbye. But yeah, that's what I love mecha for. Because if you think about it, right, there's like a lot of memes for mecha, like get in the robot, Shinji, you know? Because, you know, stepping into the robot, stepping in to take what you want is always a scary thing, right? Pretty nerve-wracking. But it's all about taking those steps to actually change the world for the better, you know? And what I really like about the Gundam series is they always have this message, you know, there's that humans are meant for space and they're meant to, you know, to be better. And what I really like about what Gundam says is that, you know, reaching space, reaching new heights, what we need is to understand each other, is to be like, you know, to understand one another's feelings. It's really cheesy like that, because in the original Gundam, right, there's something called new types, and new types, at first, they introduced them as like, oh yeah, they have super reaction time, and they're like really good at piloting the Gundam because of that. Like, they're really good, so let's put them in the killing machine. But it turns out, new types don't just have super reaction speed, it's because they're empaths, and they feel the emotion of who they're fighting, and like, they understand. So that's why they're reacting really good. And I think it's really tragic, you know, like Gundam is trying to say that there are like these conflicts, like whether it's like war or like difference of opinion, that really hold us back from like understanding one another. And I'm like, dang, that's so good. That's like really good writing. And like, until then, you know, until we understand each other, we will keep fighting. And I'm like, dang, that's really, it hits hard. And that's pretty much like the core of like most Gundam series. And I really like Witch from Mercury because of the main character, Soletta Mercury. I think she's one of my favorite written girl characters like ever. Like, I love how sweet she is. And yeah, if you guys want to watch it, it's all like on YouTube. And I think it's really endearing to have like, you know, a protagonist as sweet as her. And to be, you know, what I like about her is that she's just herself, you know, despite the world trying to make her not herself and telling her like, oh, this is the real world. You know, somebody who's as soft and as loving as you could never make it. But Soletta, she's just built different. She's just really kind and sweet, and she does stay like that till the end, and I think that's really cute. So yeah, I don't get to talk about Witch from Mercury as much, but there's a reason why. It's been like how many years now at this point since it finished? I think it finished in like 2023, and yeah, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still there mentally. Okay, let's see what chat. The big O. Yeah, Gundam Transformer, exactly. You know, honestly, if you think about it, Attack on Titan is a mecha anime. Like, I love bringing this up because I think Attack on Titan is a really good mecha anime. Like, if you like Attack on Titan, you like mechas. Because it's about, right? Gaining power, having the power to like change the world around you, but there's like a big conflict, right? Whether it's like the world being against you or like politics. You know, there's a lot of things getting in the way of like humans understanding each other and like attaining true peace and like not fighting anymore. Yeah. It's and also they turn into giant people, right? The Titans are like an extension of them. It's like a giant person. Because I think, as much as I think tanks and jets are really cool, they're not really human. They're not really personable. They don't have a face, you know? So it's the benefit of like having mecha, you know? Like you have organic mecha, exactly. It's like organic mecha. Like Evangelion is another one, organic mecha. So let me show actually. I think I should draw mechs again. My gosh. I'll show you like my last mecha drawing. Where is it? Well, this was my second mecha drawing from a few years ago. And then Where is it? And then this one. The Calibarn. I think this one's a lot better, for sure. But yeah, mechas are really nice, and I love it. There you go. And let's see. Kaiju means strange beast. Oh, I didn't know that. There you go. So that's one thing. You know, I really love Gundam. And also, I really like G Gundam as well. If you look up G Gundam, it's really over the top, but it still has a lot of heart. G Gundam will forever be my second favorite. Because I love Witch from Mercury a little bit better. Here you go. And right now, I am drawing Soleta Mercury. So let me get that down. I know, right? And yeah, if you watched Evangelion, you've watched a really good mecha anime. Because that's kind of like the whole point of it, right? Like Shinji is really emotionally like damaged, you know, because like his father wasn't around very much. He's afraid, you know, he's been abandoned a lot. And now kind of has a chance to like what's the word? Just change the world. You know, like, but it's really nerve-wracking, you know, like it goes to show that like even though you're doing something important, it's more important to, you know, get your mental health, focus on your mental health, and like just try to sort out your issues, because no matter how much you try to focus on something else, it'll always show up, right? So like take care of like of yourself and like the people around you. That's like the whole thing about Evangelion. Ooh. Do you have any advice on where to put the facial features when you're working with extreme angles? Ooh. Okay, I'll get to that in a little bit. I just want to draw the hair. There you go. Yeah, I'll probably draw like this portrait real quick. Or actually, I'll draw the hair first, and then I'll answer that question. There. But yes, Evangelion is up there, for sure. Let's see. Okay. I also really like Baldur's Gate 3. I think it's one of my favorite things like ever. Like from recent memory. I really enjoyed playing through all those 200 hours in that game. Like I really enjoyed my time with it. And I just like the openness of it, you know, like the way you could like freely express yourself and play the game how you want is very good. Yeah, mecha is really deep. It's all about, you know, the giant robots are really cool, but it's all about understanding one another. It's all about needing other people, you know, because other people are important. You need to understand them, and like and you are all meant for great things if you do. That's what makes a good mecha. There you go. The Goblin King part? Yeah, I don't blame you. It is pretty long, right? Like that part especially is pretty difficult. Like the Goblin Camp in Baldur's Gate. So yeah, I don't blame you. Right? Yeah. Okay, let me reread that question. How to put the facial features. Okay, so for me, here's like a little technique I like to do. So I'll do like a circle, because remember the head is shaped like this, you know, it's kind of like there's a bump on the back and then the face. So what I like to do is the paper method. So you got like a circle, then imagine a piece of paper wrapping around the face like that. And so for an extreme face angle, draw like that. Then let's say, it's like that. Right? You got the piece of paper, and it's following the edge of the circle, like the roundedness of it, just a little bit. And so now, try to connect it. There's the ears right here. And then here, the nose. So my advice is like, you don't have to draw every single element. I think a big mistake that people do is like, oh yeah, both eyes should be visible. But sometimes they're just angles where the eye is not visible. And this is one of them. So like, maybe like, they're like squinting. There you go. They're like staring at the sun, trying to like look at something in the sky. There's that. And what else? Maybe like an extreme angle from below. And here's another thing. People should focus on the planes of the face because, for example, in anime, the face is just flat, so like you can just draw the eyes like this. So like, there you go. But if you want it to be more realistic, the forehead's actually jutting forward like that. And then, right there. So you would see less of the eyes, honestly, depending on how big the forehead is. It'll probably be like this. So let's say their their forehead isn't as big. There you go. You would still see less of it though, from like this angle. So like, maybe there's their eyebrow. There. And then, there you go. So yeah, you don't need to draw every single detail, like, there are times where the other eye isn't showing naturally. So I think for this one, the eye isn't like this, like it's not like a front view. It's very much obstructed by the forehead. So yeah, that's the type of stuff you should keep an eye out for when you're drawing. Yeah. Okay, let me stretch. Okay, but that's my quick advice. And I want to read that question from Jean. So let's see. Let me read chat before I keep yapping. There. Okay. Should I be worrying about how much time it takes to make digital art if I'm not that good at it? Harriet, I think what you should do is take your time and like learn what your weaknesses are. For example, if you draw a face, and I'm like, man, it took me 2 hours to draw that face. It really shouldn't have. So then you practice drawing faces, maybe take like a week or like 3 days or something, or like as much time as you can dedicated to just like learning why. Like, why am I taking so long with drawing the face? And then maybe you find out like, oh, like I erase a lot. And like I erase the, what's it called? I erase the nose a lot because I don't get how to draw noses. So now you practice drawing noses. And then maybe you're like, oh, I think eyes are really hard. So now you practice drawing eyes. Like, basically, you find your weakness and then just take the time to learn what you should do. Because don't worry about time. Like, worry about your problems and like how to try to fix it, It might take a week, it might take 2 days, it might take 3 days. But what matters is you try to fix those problems and not worry about how long you're actually taking, Because you gotta be smarter with what you're having problems with. Because once you understand the problem, it becomes easier. And then naturally, you don't even know it, you've been drawing faces. Like, you can draw faces in like 2 minutes now instead of 2 hours. So yeah, it's always better to do it like that. Because who cares if you take long, you know? What matters is you learn. It's kind of like in school, right? Who cares if it takes you a little bit to like learn the new lesson? What matters is you understand it in the end, you know? So like you try your best to like understand and like just make mistakes, you know, like, and just do it. I think that's the most important part. You just do it. Just draw. And honestly, a lot of life is just like that. You know? You just do it. Don't worry about how much time you're taking with your life, or like, oh man, like I'm so slow. Like people are doing all this and I'm still here. Don't worry about other people. Don't worry about like how long you're taking. Because what matters more is you're learning. That's what matters more in the end. But yeah. Okay, so let's see. There's another question earlier. When should you start designing characters for your story? From Jean. Okay, let me see also if there's other questions. Okay. Anyway, yeah, time will pass anyway. Exactly. But okay, when should you design your characters? Hello? Hello? Audio check? Am I doing okay? We're back? Hello? Okay, he's back. Yay! Okay, you can hear me okay? Is my stream loading okay? It works? You see my drawing? Yeah. Yeah, I had to tag. My PC crashed. Okay, nice. Yeah. So you see my drawing? All good. But no, all the work I did on the hair and stuff. Yeah, I guess that was a lot of dedicated wham. So there we go. Wait, let me double check. It's gone? Okay. Because for me, my screen is like infinitely loading. It's totally frozen. Oh no. Okay, let me try again. So 1 second. Or actually, what do you guys see? Do you guys see that it's like black screen, or what do you guys see before I do that? Let me check first, because YouTube is not doing a very good job and it's not showing me what you guys see. See your painting? Okay, never mind. We're all good. Okay, so where was I? We were talking about writing stories. We were talking about writing stories, when to design your character. I think it's totally valid to write a story around the character that you drew. So you could totally draw the character first if you wanted. So let's say you drew this really cool druid lady who lives in the city, and she's lived in the city her whole life, but she's a druid, you know, like a classic. So you could totally write a story around her. So you could like write like challenges she might encounter, or like maybe, you know, what it's like to have nature be so in tune with your background, but the city, there's not much nature in the city. There you go. That makes for a good story, right? Or you could do the opposite. Maybe you want to write a story about loneliness. So maybe you design the character after that. So maybe you think of like a wolf character, you know, like a lone wolf. Or maybe you think of like what else is like a lonely creature Maybe like a hamster. Because I know hamsters are pretty solitary, actually. Yeah, my PC crashed. Ooh, what is this song from? I could send it in the comments, actually. I think I forgot to change the description. But, yeah, it's, called, I think. Yeah, let me erase that. It's from Dova Syndrome. It's, royalty-free music. And it's made by the same person who made, Ame's music. If you guys know Hololive. You guys know, Amelia Watson. She has a really iconic BGM, like the piano. She made this too. Like, it was the same person who composed that song. Ooh. Hi, Gummy. Welcome. Yeah, Gummy, you arrived at the right time. So right now it's just a Q&A. So ask me anything. You know, I have like questions prepared on the top right. But I still take questions from chat. So feel free. Yeah, Dopa Syndrome is really good for free music. There you go. But right now, you know, the question... Oh! The question... I just realized that's why. Okay, let me cycle back to the question where we were at. It's this one. Okay. But, yeah. Right now, we're just talking about... I guess stuff that I like, that I don't get to talk about in chat very often. There you go. And there. But yeah, I think that's the question answered. Sometimes I make the story with characters, but then I scrap the story and work with the characters. Yeah, totally. You do that. Okay, here is the next question. About anatomy, how should I even approach studying this? I have no idea where to start or how to study it. Thanks. Yeah, so that's pretty related to the question that we had like a few times. Okay, so let me just like draw her dress real quick. There you go. So I'll continue this drawing in a little bit. Also, merge, and then you. Okay. Let me put this... Oh, right. I guess... Yeah, I'll put that there. Okay, so when it comes to anatomy... Honestly, it's good to start with something fun. You know, like what you like. Oh, and let me see what chat is saying. Ooh, shading look nicer. I don't know, my shading stuff feels kind of dull. Ooh, I'll get to that in a little bit, Gummy Bot. I'll answer this first question. Or this question first. Wow, English. But when it comes to anatomy, it's good to start drawing the poses you like. So for example, you really like drawing sword poses. So let me try to look up a photo. Sword pose. Let's see. Yeah, I'll grab this photo from Google, copy, and paste. So yeah, it doesn't have to be a mannequin like this. It just has to be like a clear photo. And I always recommend beginners to copy a pose that they like. Whether it's like an anime or like a game that they like, just do that. And also, what's it called? Try to make it clear, you know? Like, try to pick a pose that is really clear in the beginning. So for example, let me look for like a bad example. Excuse me. Okay, I can't find any bad examples right now. But let's just say this is a good one because it's really clear. And then the next part is you try to draw the different segments that move. So for example, you know, the head, technically the jaw moves, right? But you don't have to draw the jaw separately. That's not an important part. But what is important is the neck, right? And another thing that's important is the chest, you know, the rib cage, the torso. then the waist, then the pelvis right here. So I'm kind of simplifying it into its basic shapes. And then of course we have the thigh, right? So I'll start off with the butt right here. And then this is the thigh. And then I kind of estimate, you know, I kind of measure. I'm like, how long is the thigh? So it looks like there's like this much space. So maybe mine's a little bit on the longer side. So maybe I'll shorten that. And then I draw the calf. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm breaking down the body into like the important aspects. So step 1, figure out what you want to draw. Maybe like dancing poses, maybe like sword poses, like the thing I'm doing right now. And then look for a photo. And then try to like draw a mannequin, you know, like a basic version of it. And then here. Also, I talk about this a lot, but I like the Haunter method. So if you think about Haunter from Pokemon, right? There's Haunter, and he has floating hands like that. So you can draw the hands first, honestly. So that's why I say that. And then now, if I draw the hand, like somewhere here, and then I can just easily connect it like that. And then same with here, you know. So like I'll draw the hand, draw the sword, and then I try to see if it's like accurate. I feel like the arm is perfect, like it's not too long, it's not too short. So now I can just connect it like that. So in this phase, you know, when you're trying to learn anatomy, make it simple. Like even though your character may be like, oh, they have like cool clothes, right? Maybe they have like a cool cloak. You know, I guess that's a good example of what not to pick, is when the body's kind of obscured. So maybe they're wearing like I don't know, like baggy clothing, right? Like it's kind of hard to tell what their body is, for example. I wouldn't recommend that one because it's hard to tell, and I think it requires more brain power out of you. It is pretty sick. Like a coat for a swordsman is pretty sick. Look at that. But it is harder for you to study in the beginning. So I suggest stuff like this where it's like really clear what the body is doing. Maybe you could work up to it, you know, maybe you could like x-ray vision, right? And like try to predict what their body looks like underneath like the baggy clothes. But in the beginning, this is fine, you know, just like try to do that. And then after you draw, this is the most important part. You try to figure out what you could change. So I'll be like, oh, like, you know what? I think the neck is a little bit different. You know, like my neck is more relaxed, but here the neck is more like strained, right? It's kind of like more pushed forward and kind of stressed looking. So yeah, now you know that your weakness is like, oh, okay, I got the neck wrong. What else? Oh, you know what? The arm, it's very like outstretched, you know, it's pretty straight, but for mine it's like bent, so that one's a mistake. And what else? Yeah, I guess the angle of the arm, it's like a little bit like that, you know, so maybe I could change that. So stuff like that, and then you just try again. You just keep doing that until you iron out all your problems. That's like the basic gist of it, is you iron it out. But also, it doesn't have to be one-to-one, you know, it doesn't have to be like a carbon copy of your reference, because technically my anatomy is all correct here. Like the neck isn't too long, or like the arm isn't too short, or anything major like that. So also, not only can you call out your mistakes, maybe you could be like, okay, like I'm close enough, maybe I'll move on to the next one. And that's the most important part. Know when to move to a new drawing, because, you know, technically, like let's say your intention is to learn anatomy, but then you're still like drawing this, like it's been 2 hours and you're still just like what's it called, highlighting the areas and stuff, and like you're not really doing anything. You can just move on. You can just leave it as this stick man, But if your intention now is to finish it and make it look cool, then yeah, take your time and then like maybe you could like draw the hands, right? Draw it like that, and then draw the fingers now. So draw with intention, don't just draw mindlessly. Like it doesn't have to be like crazy, like you don't have to like meditate on like what you have to draw, but at least have a purpose, like now I just want to make like a cool person, so like maybe there I draw like a cool anime swordsman. So there you go, so like have something in mind at the very least with where you want to go with your drawing, because that's how you'll learn the most. Like don't get me wrong, head emptying and like just drawing is really fun, but I just drew Dunban from Xenoblade, but I forget which arm of his doesn't work. Wait, I drew Dunban. Oh my god, that's Dunban over there. Anyway, yeah, anatomy is so hard to learn. Like I'm new and all of that, while also having anatomy class too, barely passing it. That's fine. I think my main advice is have fun with it. Like, if you have fun with it, you'll keep going. And if you keep going, you'll get better naturally. So that's why I also say draw what you want to draw, So that's also very essential in like in your journey, because that's how you get your motivation started. I think getting your motivation started is very, very essential. Okay. Yeah, what time is it? Maybe I'll go a little bit over. Maybe I'll go a little bit over because I'm having fun. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, and also I wanted to answer Gummy's question. I don't know if Gummy is still here. Gummybot. But about shading. Oh, let's see. Failure don't mean you can't make it as an artist. It just means you're not there yet. Exactly. Joe cooking again. Another Joe banger. Okay. Here and here. Sage advice, yeah. But I'll just answer it. Sadly, I think Gummy is not here anymore. But where is it? When it comes to shading, I like to think of the shape. So I think I'll do it with the hair. So I'll make it brighter. I like to think of each hair as like a clump, like a shape. So, I don't think of them as like individual hairs like that. I think of them as in the major shapes. So for example, you got this one right here. It's like one big clump. And let's say the light is coming from the top right, actually. Now, this clump number, maybe let's make it one big shape, like that. And of course, the parts that don't get light get shadow instead. So there you go. And then this one. Let's see. Also, you're not a robot, so even if you've been a pro for years, you're bound to fail. Exactly. That's why it's so important to have fun with it, because it's a marathon and not a race, right? You gotta keep running for a long time. You gotta keep drawing for a long time. The long game. There. So yeah, now that I'm shading the hair, see how like I think of it like this. There's like clump number 1, clump number 2, clump number 3. I think of them as like individual shapes, basically. So there. Maybe there's like one big one. Oops. There. Maybe I'll like have it separate, like that. Let's see. I guess patience is really good, yeah? Then how do you improve? Well, you improve by drawing, and then you try to think of what you could do differently. So if you think like, oh wow, like the arms are a little bit wonky actually with the way I draw, or like, wow, I've been drawing the same face this whole time, then try a new face. So that's how you improve. You draw what's fun, and then you try to think like, okay, what can I do differently, and what did I do that I feel like could be better, you know? So that's how you change as a person, and like you change as an artist. You just self-reflect and like see what you could have done differently. There. And maybe I'll make this another clump. Yeah, it's okay to make mistakes. It's natural. But what is good though, like what is good for improving is knowing what you could change, you know? There we go. And let's see. Yeah, her hair. There you go. Just this one strand. Okay. Yeah. But this is the gist of shading. Since it was asked by Gummy, there you go, is I think of the shape of the object. Even something as busy as hair, it's I think of them as like a big shape, you know? There you go. And okay. Let's see. That's pretty much how I do it. And also, like, it's good to keep an eye out and like have inspiration. I think that's another good piece of advice, is to have somebody you look up to with their art, you know? Like, try to see like how they do things and be like, wow, like I didn't think of using color like that. I didn't think of using purple like that, or like blue. Or like, oh, that's a really good pose. I've never tried foreshortening before. But one thing you should be careful about if you do that is that doesn't mean that you should compare yourself and be like, oh man, I'm so bad actually. I think what you should do is try to look for a direction. You shouldn't be like, oh, like I should be right here. What you should do is like try to see what you could try that's new. You know, something that people are trying that maybe you haven't before. Because it's really easy to be like, oh, I'm so bad. Oh my gosh, like this guy's so much better than me. But that's not the point. The point is for you to find out what you could try. And even if you're the best of the best, there's always people better than you. So just it's fine. You know, like there will always be people better than you, and like doesn't really matter in the long run. Let's see. Oh. You know what? I'll merge it all together. Too lazy to do this and this. Yeah, even the people you look up to were beginners once, and I bet they're really bad at something too. Like, for example, that anime artist you do, or you like, you do. Maybe they're really bad at realism, but maybe you're better at realism because you had more practice, right? So. Yeah, like it reminds me of this Hunter x Hunter quote where it's a little bit convoluted, so try to follow with me here. The quote is something like this. I'm gonna try to paraphrase. If you fight the strongest fighter in the world on the worst day, their ability is at its lowest compared to you at your best day. You might be able to beat the best person at their worst day if you're having the best day. It was something like that. Something funny like that. I think Killua said it. I'm like paraphrasing. But basically what they're trying to say is like a pro's worst day ever could be equal to your best day ever. So you could still beat them, basically. In that context. But what I'm trying to say by bringing that up is that, you know, you don't have to like measure to them. Like sometimes, you know, they're having good days, having bad days. Doesn't really matter. What matters is like you learn at your pace. Yeah. Everyone has their own style and thing they do that they're really good at. And you won't be better at them at their own style, but they can still be better than you. Yeah. So what's more important is to learn, like keep up the pace, you know, like maybe sometimes you're walking, sometimes maybe you're chugging along, like you're making so much progress. But as long as you're moving, that's what's important. Maybe some days you're slow, maybe some days you're like popping off. But it's okay as long as you're consistent and you have what's it called? You have progress. You are good. Okay. There you go. Now you know what? Let me make her smile a little bit more. There we go. Okay, let's see. I can't wait to compile this mess of drawings that I have. It's gonna be so much. Ooh, there it is. I never find good references. This is the next question. Never find good references. Got any tips, websites, or tricks other than taking a photo in the mirror? Yeah, that's a really good question. So, trying to think of like a good example. I'm like blanking out right now. Maybe I should drink water while I think about it. But for me, what I try to do is I try to do it by myself at first. So I'm like thinking like, oh, like, I'm trying to do this like really complicated pose. Maybe I'll try it first, and then I'll try to look for references as I get along. So for example, or as I get along, maybe as I go along. That's what I meant. There you go. And what is this? Right. This one. You can hide that. Oh yes, water. Yes, hydrate. Because I'm trying to think of like how to put it into words. But basically everybody has like an idea, right? No matter how archaic or how like inaccurate the idea is, everybody has like an image in their brain. I think the best thing to do in that case, if you're stumped, is to try your best to like draw it from your head and then use references to fill in the blanks. So, draw mech while I talk? Yeah, sure. Yeah, so for example, I think people... Okay, I got it. People get too caught up in finding the perfect reference. So sometimes the perfect reference never shows up. And like you have... you could like spend hours just like doom scrolling on like Pinterest or like doom scrolling on like Google, but you just can't find it. So I think when that happens, it's better to understand the fundamentals. Like you gotta practice the basics. So for example, I'm having trouble drawing the arm at like a low angle. Then maybe you could try drawing basic shapes, you know, like go back to the basics. Maybe you don't have to Google specifically just arms, right? Maybe what you're having trouble with is the angle. So now you try to draw basic shapes like this one. Like right now I'm drawing a mech by popular demand. By popular demand I mean like one person and other people agreeing. Yeah, let's say you're struggling with drawing like an arm, right? And like you could like look up all the references in the world for like arms at a certain angle, but maybe it's actually much better to learn how to draw cylinders and like learn how to break them down. So for example, if something is complicated, you simplify them. And I know for a fact that this is how I simplify my hands. I have a formula. I have the arm, and then I got the upper arm, right? And then I got the fingers, like here. So the thumb, and then the other fingers. I have, and specifically the fingers have their joints, right? They got the first joint, middle joint, and then the smallest joint. Just like that. So break them down into like its simpler shapes. And then afterwards, that's when you start deciding if you want to go deeper. So maybe you want like more muscles. Then that's when you look up references of muscles and like try to figure out how they coil around. For example, the deltoid would be right here. The bicep would be like that. Maybe it's like barely visible actually. And then this is the elbow. So the tricep could be right here. And then this is the lat right here. Or not the lat, but maybe the what's it called? The pecs. And then the lat right there. So there. It's how do I put it to words? You could focus on finding the right reference, but also what you could do is like simplify the body into shapes, and then you look at like muscle references. So for example, right there. Also forgive me, I'm pretty washed. Like I haven't practiced muscles in a while. So it'll be something like this, right? So sometimes it's much better to boil it down to the basics. Like basic shapes, basic forms, and yeah. Sometimes if you can't find the reference, simplify it and see if you could like reverse search, It's how do I say it? Yeah. maybe I'll find the better words for it. Let me read chat first. Yeah. And give me a theme actually. Give me a theme of what kind of mech you want it to be. Because right now it's just a generic mech. There you go. Yeah, give me like a trait. Is it like a knight? Is it an evil mech? What is it? I love to see. Is it a war mech? Is it a war machine? Is it a thingy? Give me advice. There. Because in the meanwhile, I'll work on this drawing. I'll add like a blush. Ooh, heroic. I like that. Okay. Let me just add like a little blush. There you go. And here. Maybe that's too much actually. There. And then yeah, I want more people to like write down traits before like I continue with my mech. What time is it? Oh, I just realized they're like overtime. maybe 15 minutes more. I'll probably like draw the mech and answer like a few more questions from chat. Ooh. What kind of reference should someone gather for mech arts? Ooh. I think the biggest thing that people struggle with is form. Like trying to draw all those like squares and shapes. So I think you should practice that for sure. And then what else is like a good reference? For me, I have a lot of experience with building model kits, so that's also why I have like a good feel for mecha. So yeah, you could also do that, like use references of the model kit. There. Or it doesn't have to be exactly the model kit. You could also draw like action figure arms and like try to picture it, you know? Try to picture how they move, because at the end of the day, they kind of move like toys, you know? Like, I think that's like a really good reference. Have toys. And I think in the mech video, one of the advice I give is to have clay. So have clay and toothpicks, and then like you could make it. You could make your own reference and like try to figure out how they would move. There you go. But yeah, that's how I would do it for mix and references. And I guess there's also the classic, you know, just copy a mech one to one and like try to notice like how their what's it called? How their what's it called? Their features are, and how like their body is shaped and stuff. There you go. I'm drawing like heroic knights by request. There you go. And okay, let me move. Ooh, there you go. Here's my next question. How are you? Favorite food, video games. Okay, this is perfect. Perfect question while I do this. So, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. And yeah, it's been good. I've just been vibing, and I've been working on a portfolio piece actually. So let me show. Where is it? Okay, first I will save just in case my PC crashes again. Okay. Work. Oh wait, no, not work. Not my work file. But here, I'm drawing this for my portfolio. Drawing a little house. Because I think I need more perspective stuff. And I've been really having fun, like, drawing all the tiles and stuff. Like, and all the different shapes. So that's been fun. That's how I've been. Also just vibing and, like, just hanging out with friends, going out. Doing other stuff. But yeah. Ooh. Question from Harriet. Okay, I'll answer that first before the rest of it. What should I draw when I want to draw? Oh, what should I do when I want to draw but have art block? Ooh. Yeah, so Harriet, just take it slow. Like, if you want to draw but you're having trouble, just... Oh, oops. Hold on. Cut. Paste. If you want to draw, just start simple. Maybe start by drawing something you like. Maybe you like drawing swords, or like maybe you like drawing people. Just draw like basic stuff, you know, like it doesn't have to be a masterpiece. Just get yourself to draw and like just like get the ball rolling, because if you keep your hands still, you know, maybe it either means you're really tired, you just, you know, gotta rest, or, you know, you just need to warm up a little, because you're probably thinking of like the pressure, being like, oh man, I gotta make a masterpiece, and like I don't want to draw right now. You know, you get tired thinking about drawing. So yeah, just take it slow. And there. Here. Good architecture piece. Yeah. Looks cute. Yeah, I wanted to give him like a, you know, the knight's mohawk, like the little brush. That's what I thought of. When I think of like heroic, I think of knights. Here. And then maybe I'll draw like another thing here. And notice how with mine, right? But I'm thinking, you know, I just want his head to be like, just like slapped on to the top. So there you go. It just like rotates like that. So like this. That's how his head moves. So yeah, when I'm drawing mechs, I like to think of their shapes and also the what's it called? Just the basic movement. So maybe I'll draw like the eyes. There you go. you go. And then, how much longer? Maybe until 30. if Kevin's okay with it. Are you okay with that, Kevin? Do let me know. There you go. I'll cap it off 15 minutes from now, basically. Because I don't want to keep Kevin waiting. Because honestly, I could like just keep streaming if I wanted to. Okay. Yes. There. Ooh. I want to draw one of my characters, but I haven't properly designed them yet. What should I do? I think you should take the time and like draw that character. I think it's important to do that. Because in the long run, right? If you don't know what your character looks like, you'll encounter like a lot of problems. It'll be kind of a headache because you're like, oh, like I don't know what his design looks like, and like I gotta change my mind about stuff, so it's good to have a solid idea. So like, there, I'm good. Okay. I feel a bit intimidated to design them. Yeah, how come? Do you feel like there's too much to do, or is there like you just don't want to do that right now? What do you feel like? Because it's good to be like when you have these feelings, don't avoid them. You could like think about it, like think about why you feel that way, and see if it's worth working through. That's just how it is. There you go. I feel intimidated. Oh wait, no, that was just the last one. Okay. But yeah, you gotta look deeper into why you're intimidated. Is it because you feel like there's too much research, you know? Or like, is it because you're just tired? Okay, they never turned out how you liked. I see. You might find me annoying, but like, after that, what I would do is I would ask myself, how come I don't like it? Is it because their outfits are ugly? Is it because like I don't like the what's it called? Their shape, maybe? I don't know. So like basically my advice is try to be specific, and then afterwards like try to fix it. Try to fix that problem. Excuse me. Yeah, iteration is when you draw it over and over again. So like you draw the same drawing. So for example, you're like, you know, I drew this like mech, but maybe I'll try again, but this time without the mohawk. You know, like that's what iterations are. There you go. So yeah. I'll just draw like a little baby mech actually. Yeah. Try doing sketches in your head. There you go. And then maybe do this. Maybe they have a giant lance. There you go. Yeah, this is probably the last thing I'll draw for today. And there. Yeah, just try to get to as close as possible without any reference. Yeah, and like totally you could like pull up references as well, and like, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with ever taking the time to like pull up references and seeing what you could do. There you go. And then let's see. Yeah, focus on the story first. Like the fashion matches the story. If you don't like the story, make one. Yeah, it doesn't have to be like a deep story either. That's good advice as well. Yeah. Yeah, so like for example, you know, I just wanted to draw like a knight robot. I think I'll color them better later. There you go. I'm gonna draw that. And here, I'll make it a drill. Because they always spin. Every spin brings them forward. There you go. Brings them forward, gets them closer to their dreams. That's what a drill does. There you go. Like paraphrasing. Mad paraphrasing. Okay. Here. Yeah, any more suggestions actually from chat? Because like right now I'm just kind of like in my own world. Right? Yeah, giant weapons. I love giant weapons. They're so sick. See, like giant, look at this, giant lance, drill lance, and then maybe I'll adjust the head angle a little bit. There you go. And then I'll give him more color. So in a little bit. And then here. And I wanted to give him just like a basic box body, you know. And then here, like where his arm attaches. Oh, I drew it on the same layer. Oops. There you go. Yeah, for now, I'll keep it vague. You know, I just know that the arm attaches on there. Maybe it's like a ball joint, you know, like an action figure. So there you go. And then here. And also, this is another fun thing about drawing mechs, is that you can just like embrace the shape. For example, like the spear, right? There you go. I'll like extend it. I'm kind of drawing like a sculptor right here. Boom. Yeah. Welcome back. Okay, and then what else? All right, like the question: favorite food? I never say no to a burger. I love burgers. I love pita. I love burritos. I just like wraps. And I think one of my favorite ingredients to cook with is the tomato. I love tomatoes so much. Anything made with tomatoes is really good. Oh, forgot to draw. Go that forward. Okay, let me move that aside. Let's see. And I'm trying to think of like other favorite foods. Also, I think my favorite protein is chicken. Of course, it's healthy. It tastes good. It's really easy to prepare. Chicken is top tier. Okay. Yeah. Good luck, Harriet. Oh, let's see. I mean, if you know what I mean, this looks like the Naruto fighting game. Ooh. I actually haven't seen that one with Shisui. Yeah. But I know what you're talking about. The one where like he first shows up and has more screen time in that game in Ninja Storm. I know what you mean. I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's funny, those Ninja Storm games are how I caught up with Naruto. Because I did not watch them as a kid. Well, I did watch the anime for a little bit, but it was only like in sporadic, you know, sporadic instances. Because I would like come home from school and Naruto would be there. So I watched the Zabuza arc, I watched the Gaara arc, the Chunin exam, but not much of Shippuden. I think Shippuden was like later in the day, so I never caught it, sadly. Yeah. They did a perfect Susanoo, wow. I forgot, what was the conditions again for getting the perfect Susanoo, like the full body? Because I know Itachi and Sasuke had the half one, or like the bones. Those are sick. I loved drawing those as a kid, by the way. Like the Susanoo arm, it looked like this. Like there's like a screw when it was like incomplete. That was so sick. So it'd be like that, and then like that. Like the way it's all like, it's like a puppet with screws. Oh, the Mangekyo Sharingan. I see. It's so fun being. I know, it's really funny. They're supposed to be sneaky, but they're like, they got atomic bombs, and they're like blowing stuff up, like wiping out continents. I thought ninjas were sneaky. That's not very sneaky. There you go. But I won't lie, it does look pretty fun to be a ninja. There we go. We got our mech. And then... trying to think if... Yeah, and I like his Susanoo color. It's green. Like a cool green. There. Okay. And my next question, video games. I like to play... Well, recently, I've just been playing a lot of... what's it called? Baldur's Gate. Even though I already finished it, I started a new save. And every now and again, you know, I play Apex with my friends. It kind of went back. The Apex phase came back. And that's pretty fun. I only ever play that though with friends. I would never play that solo. And what else? I guess I was playing Silent Hill F for a little bit. But I like playing it with my friends because I could play it alone, but what's the point? They can't watch me, they can't laugh at me, scream, playing a scary game, so... I haven't hung out with them in a little bit, so... I'm like, I have that on pause right now. Silk Song? That's on the to playlist. Song that is very silky. Oh, here. let me try to look for it. I want to show a photo. Unrelated photo. Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. Never mind. I don't have it saved. And by the way, to answer that question from earlier, who said that? Let me back read. Bottle of ketchup as a snack. There you go. No. No, I love tomatoes, but not that much. How is it? It's pretty good. It's not as scary as I thought, actually, because I thought it would be like, you know, like more psychological and like, ooh, like you gotta run away from like everything. But Hinako is kind of a beast. Like, she just has a steel pipe and she beats all the monsters to death, and it's like really funny. I'm playing on hard difficulty too, so it's not like because it's at an easier difficulty. It's just really funny to see like all these horrors and like the horrors. Oh my, it's so scary. But then you beat them with a pipe. You just beat them with a metal pipe. Man-made horrors beyond our comprehension. And you just beat them to death. Yeah, exactly. See this this crispy bird. you could get more points, shrine points. You could sacrifice this chocolate so that you get stronger. It just makes sense. Yeah, that's like the upgrade system. You have to pray at a shrine, and you gotta trade your items. Some of them are pretty interesting, you know, like you could trade in your healing items for points to level up, or you know, you could just keep them and actually use them for healing. So it's like the sacrifice. See, I like those types of horror games where like you it's survival horror basically. You have resources, it's limited, and like you get to still play the game. I think that's more type of horror game I like. But if it's just running around like like Poppy Playtime or like uh, Outlast, you know, all those scary games, the horror games, I don't think I would enjoy them. There you go. Yeah, it's too scary. There you go. Okay, I'll add a splash of color one last time to this drawing, and then I'll wrap up. So if you guys have questions, now would be the time. Get them out there. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Speed him with a metal pipe. It's that simple. Ooh, no, I've never seen Dragon Prince, but I do know it's a show, right? An animated show. There. And there. Ooh, Phasmophobia or Little Nightmares? No, I've never played Phasmo, but I do know Little Nightmares does sound pretty cute. It's like a platformer. I played Inside before. It's like Inside is this, I guess, a platformer puzzle game, side scroller. It's pretty good. I like that one. But I wouldn't say it's scary. Honestly, it has like horror elements, but it's not a full-on horror game. How am I? I'm good. I'm vibing. Look at this mech. So now I have like the general shape, right, of this mech. So I'm gonna like flush it out. There. And there. Mecha Knight. How's my cold? It's better. You know, I don't have it anymore, but I still cough. So like maybe I'll make mono eye. There you go. Classic. Mono eye mecha. Then here you go. Maybe I'll make this like gold. We'll see. There you go. Maybe there's like missiles in here that like pop out. So there. And there. Not sure if like it's better. Yeah, maybe I'll do this actually. There you go. There's like, it's like in Gundam, there's Vulcan cannons, which is like the head cannons. There you go. Head cannon. There you go. Yeah, like that. There you go. Please color. Yeah, okay, sure. Maybe that's the last thing I'll do. I love how like I keep dragging it out. I'm having fun. So hold on. There. Okay, I'm gonna try to draw Mudkip. I'm gonna try to color Mudkip from memory. I think that'll add to it. And like I'll color him really derpy. Like that. Yippee! Pokemon und Cola. Yippee! There you go. And then you got there. And then I know this is like a lighter blue from what I remember. There you go. And then this is also a lighter blue. I'm like trying to color from my memory. And then a really nice orange. There you go. And there. Yippee! There you go. Kind of like out the lines. Yippee! But yes, Mudkip is pretty cute. I think there are a lot of cute water types. Like, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Like, the one that turns into Primarina in Sun and Moon. That one's pretty cute. I remember there's Primarina and then Fiona, I think? Or no, never mind. That's a different Pokemon. I forget my Pokemon. Okay, I'll use gold actually. Maybe gold would be kind of cool. Overlay. Or actually green. I rarely use green. Yeah, Poplio. Yeah, Poplio. Thank you. There you go. I feel like green is an underrated color. So, well, Actually, I take it back. Now that I use green, this looks like a Zaku from Gundam. I think it's too close. Let me try something different. Yeah, there you go. I'll just go with the original plan. Poplio. So there you go. I'm using overlay to just like add some color. There. And there. But yeah, Pokemon is up there too with like a favorite game. Like, it's really cute. It will forever be iconic. Okay, now that now that I look at it again, it's like the mech I designed for stream. Okay, maybe I'll change the color again. Let's see. Pink? Ooh, pink is kind of cool. Yeah, I like this one. Because in one of my older streams, we already have a pink or like an orange mech. So maybe I'll try something different. There you go. There. You got purple. Yay. See, this is why a lot of artists love overlay. It's so nice. Ooh, the otter. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm such a fake fan. The otter. Oshawott. Oshawott's my favorite what's it called? Starter Pokemon. Let me show it again since people just came in. Where is it? Pokemon. Let me pull it up. But here is like one of my most recent drawings since Gonzalo showed a really cool Pokemon drawing. I was like, I want to draw Pokemon. Here's like my favorite designs. Here you go. Look at that. So Samurott. I think Samurott's cool. Tinkaton. I really like the design of Tinkaton. It's really cute. And Jolteon's my favorite evolution. I think Jolteon's really cool. And then there's Lucario, there's Shiny Golurk, and then Furlas, and then there's me. But yes, I just wanted to draw something cute. There you go. Okay, let me. Yeah, Umbreon's a pretty good pick. Yeah, I think Espeon and Umbreon are pretty good, pretty iconic. And let's see. Maybe I'll make the arms like a dark purple. There you go. Yeah. True. It's like a psychic cat. Like a pink cat. It's pretty sick. There. And then... Oh, it's on a different layer. Oops. Let me merge it. Is it all together now? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just merge it all together because it's kind of a hassle to keep it separate now. Okay, and then I'll probably make it darker. Let's see. There you go. Well, maybe that's too dark. I kind of like the light pink. Ooh, Leafeon. I think Glaceon is pretty cute too with the bangs. I like Glaceon's bangs. Let's see. Color pick you. And I'm trying to think of like a separate color. Maybe green, since it's complementary. There you go. I just realized this is Evangelion. Oh my gosh. Purple and green. Yeah, whenever I see this color combo, I just think of Evangelion. Ava 1. Okay, and then probably darken it, actually. So there, I'll use multiply to darken the thing a little bit. Let me see how that looks. Nah, I don't like it. Okay. Ooh, make the guy dispense candy? That'd be kind of funny. I don't know how I would implement that because he's gigantic. Maybe I'll draw a person. Okay. Okay. There. For for size comparison. There you go. There, and then make them wear like their pilot suit. There you go. Or maybe, let's see without color. I think it's kind of charming actually. Maybe, what if I try blue? Okay, so let me try blue. Because I kind of like the blue already. Yeah. Okay, that one's way nicer actually. I'll stick with blue. It does feel more heroic too. So there. And there. And then, of course, with the drill. Gold drill. Always. Ooh, a shoulder cannon. Right? It's so sick. Okay. Over there. Oh, well, maybe hard light. Yeah, hard light's kind of good. Look at that. The drill that will pierce the heavens. There. And then probably use like a deep, where is it? Deep orange cheese. There you go. Just to like color it a little. Hey. There. The cheese lance. And then let me merge it. Merge. Then I'll make it like a nice, maybe like a bright gold. There you go. And here's another technique. A lot of people think, wow, it's so shiny. I'll add brighter colors. I will actually add darker colors to make it shinier. There. So, there we go. So let me do that. Then I'll shade it in the direction of the drill. There we go. See, look at that. Doesn't it look shinier just because I added the dark parts? So here's before and after. It's shinier now. Because remember, just because you want something to be bright doesn't mean you have to add brighter colors. Maybe you could make everything else darker. Okay? Very easy thing to overlook. Pekka? Yeah, Pekka from Clash of Clans. I can kind of see that. That's really funny. Sag. Yeah, I can't integrate it, sadly. Maybe I can with more time, but I'm already like over time as it is. There. And oh, you know what? That's why. Let me erase you. Okay, there we go. I got that. And then I think I'll merge you. I'm just happy with this. There you go, look at that. Golden lance. And then here. Then I'll add more shiny parts. Like a nice shiny blue on the chest, on the shoulder pad. There. Ding. Ding. Ding, ding, ding. And then make this shiny. And there. Look at that. There. And let's see actually. So pretty, yeah. Does it? I don't think so. I think you made that up. I think we gotta Google. Does mecha mean super in Japanese? I kinda doubt it. I don't think so. But it would be really cool if you're right though. because are pretty super. There. There. And then the mohawk. Oh, oops, it's lock transparency. But yeah, this is probably it. There you go. No, actually, maybe I'll answer like one more question. Let's see. Ooh, okay, this is the last question. Do you have any free Clip Studio Paint material suggestions? Okay, for me, I really like this one. It says oil pastel in katakana, so it's this one. That's just the name of it, and it's by Red Juice. So it's a nice oil pastel brush that like is nice for blending. So let me write that down. I think there's oil pastel, and this is by a famous artist. His name is Red Juice. So Red Juice, he's the character designer for Guilty Crown and for Iris, one of the what's it called? One of the VTubers for Hololive. His artwork's pretty iconic, Red Juice. So he made this brush. And then there's also this one, SU Cream Pencil. I really like this one too, for like the texture. It's like a rough pencil. And I've used it to draw a couple drawings, so let me show. So I used it to draw this. I drew that, the Final Fantasy XIV drawing. I used it to draw this drawing from all those years ago. Where is it? I used it to draw this. This is like so long ago actually, like 3 years ago. And I used it to draw this drawing. And yeah, I just really like the texture. This one I drew recently. But there. And then let me write that down. SU Cream Pencil. Cream Pencil. There you go. And okay. Ah, Mecca. Oh, okay. Maji. I see. I love brushes that look soft. Yeah. For me, I'm just using a default round brush. So what I did was I modified the dense watercolor brush, and then I turned off the blending. So that's how I did it. Oops. Let me color pick you. There you go. And then you. I'll add some highlight. There. There and there. Okay. But yeah, that should be it for today. Yeah, this is a long stream. Word. And I'm glad because I want this to be just like a chill stream where people have a chance to have their questions be answered more. I wanted this to be like a nice chance to hear what chat thinks instead of me just like yapping and like talking about a lesson as I usually do. So all of you have been really nice and gave me like really good questions, so I'm glad. And yeah, again, while I try to finish this off, I'll remind everybody that we're not just a YouTube channel, we're also an art school, a school of illustration. So if you want to learn with me, with Jesse, with Faye, with Gonzalo, with Arunia, we have a lot of talented instructors. So if you do that, check out the website next to me. There you go. If you want to take classes, but also if you want to support us, you could become a YouTube member or a patron so that you could get some cool perks. Like you can become a member on Discord, and on there, we give critique, we give live crits, so like you could send in your artwork and we go over it together. We do that every month, and also you can just submit your artwork and we give feedback. And you know, if you don't feel like subscribing as like a member or a patron, you can still join our Discord. You know, there's still a community there, and you can still share your artwork with fellow artists. You know, it's like a nice community over there. So go join that if you'd like to. But if you don't want to do any of that, watching our streams is a great support. So we really can't thank you enough for being here and just like being really cool audience members. So yeah, there you go. I think I'm pretty happy with this mech design here. There you go. Yeah, talk to you Monday. Yeah, that's it. I don't got Discord, that's fine. We just post on YouTube anyway, so maybe in the comments. Maybe you could just say hi in the comments. Yeah, in the Discord. So check out our Discord. It was linked. But also, yeah, there are other Q&As coming up this week. So be sure to check those out. Our other instructors will have Q&As, so be on the lookout. Check out our channel and take a look at the planned streams. But other than that, I hope everybody has a nice day and that everybody had fun. Yes, eat and stuff and drink more water. Exactly. It's alright. Yeah. That's it, everyone. Bye bye.